To me, the Democratic Party is a ghost brand. You know what a ghost brand is? It's like Sears or, General Electric. It's still a company, Abercrombie and Fitch, but they've really fallen on hard times.
Yeah.
I tell him face to face. I've said it on the show. He went too far left for me often, but it is encouraging to see that in at least 3 places I can think of, he has moved it back to the center, but he's got a long way to go if he wants to do that. Relaunch it, rebrand it, but it would have to be somebody who is unapologetic about calling them out. People have lost faith in the Democratic Party for very good reasons. You're the only one I hear who doesn't look like he cares what the other Democrats will say about it.
I don't care.
Bill Maher went on Stephen A. Smith's show and delivered a blunt assessment of the Democratic Party. A lifelong Democrat, Maher called his own party a ghost brand, echoing what millions of former voters have felt. He didn't sugarcoat it. He highlighted the disconnect between Democrats and real voters. Even a playful jab about being called an actor underscored his point. Unlike actors, he aims to tell the truth, and that honesty drives his critique of the party.
He's an actor, a comedian, a producer, a writer, and host of the hit HBO political talk show, Real Time with Bill Maher. The one and only Bill Maher is with me right now. What's going on, Big Time? How are you, sir? How's everything?
I'm not an actor. Don't ever call me an actor.
I apologize.
I'm the opposite of an actor, like you. Actors are avoiding the truth and playing parts. We're real and telling what's real.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I correct myself. Thank you for the reminder. First of all,
I'm just messing with you.
I know.
Bill Maher slammed the Democratic Party for focusing on theatrics, virtue signaling, and social media outrage instead of real issues affecting everyday Americans. He argued that the party punishes honesty and stifles debate within its own ranks. For Maher, true integrity means calling out problems on both sides, not just pointing fingers at Republicans, and prioritizing substance over performance.
I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It's the best political show on television. I don't care what anybody says. But I will ask you this. When you look at Trump and some of the things that he says, what are you more concerned about in this day and age, Bill? Is it how the right feeds off of what he says, or is it how the left reacts to what he says? What has you more concerned at this particular moment in time as we just purview the landscape, look at our country and the state of affairs that's going on around here?
Well, I love it that you always like what you were just saying before I came on about free speech, and you said, well, let's be honest, the left sort of courted this a little bit because they weren't exactly champions of free speech. So you always have to look at that. I mean, I know that the woke people don't like it that I do that, and maybe they don't like it that you do it either, but that is the reality, and I think we should all do it a lot more, is just be honest about both sides.
Maher argues the Democratic Party has lost touch with everyday Americans, focusing on ideology, virtue signaling, and social media drama instead of real issues like jobs and paychecks. He compares the party to a ghost brand like Sears, once iconic, now hollow and irrelevant. The name remains, but the substance is gone, replaced by slogans and performative gestures that fail to connect beyond elite circles.
The Democrats, the reason why, I'm taking you a little more seriously for this is because the Democrats definitely need an outsider. I mean, I'm going to give you a little preview of something I'm working on that'll be on our show one of these weeks at the end as an editorial. Is, to me, the Democratic Party is a ghost brand. You know what a ghost brand is? It's like Sears or...
Maher says you can't win elections with vibes or condescension. People won't keep voting for a party that treats them like bigots for asking reasonable questions. The solution? An outsider, someone independent of the DNC who ignores purity tests, speaks plainly, and focuses on real issues like crime, inflation, housing, and jobs.
Company, Abercrombie and Fitch, but they've really fallen on hard times.
Yeah.
But they've been around for a long time. So there is value in, it's an asset, right? Because there are still people who know of the company, and if you could have somebody take it over, who's not sentimental about that company and, relaunch it, rebrand it. But it would have to be somebody who is unapologetic about calling them out. People have lost faith in the Democratic Party for very good reasons.
Things get tricky when Stephen A. brings up Gavin Newsom. Maher has praised him before, even hinting at presidential potential. Now he has to decide, stick with the praise or judge Newsom by the same standards he applies to everyone else.
I don't care. I really don't.
Right,
I don't give a damn what they say. I really don't.
I know. And it's somebody, I don't either. I'm right where you are. We're very close on all these things. And I think somebody with that kind of abandon is the only person who is going to win back former Democratic voters who have switched over.
But you also have faith in California Governor Gavin Newsom, did you not?
Maher doesn't hold back. He says Newsom went too far left. He notes Newsom's recent moves toward the center are encouraging, but insists there's still a long way to go.
I'm describing now.
Right.
I think he'd be a great candidate. He has shown in recent months the ability also to move to the center. He would have to do it a lot more. Mm-hmm. But as a candidate, he looks great. Great speaker, very forceful, can be mean, which is really important, mm-hmm. and he can do it. He also has the backing, or certainly should, of where the energy is in the Democratic Party, the far left, because, he's been out front on a lot of very liberal issues, which I think is great. Gay marriage here in California and stuff like that, pollution, all sorts of stuff that we believe in. But, he does have a long trail.
Newsom isn't just struggling with his image. He's facing real problems in California, crushing taxes, an overgrown bureaucracy, and a homelessness crisis that's getting worse, not better. These are tangible issues affecting millions of people. Until he can show real, measurable progress, his national ambitions will remain just ambitions. Maher and Stephen both agree that in the current political climate, a far-left candidate like him has little chance of winning a national election.
I tell him face to face, I've said it on the show, he went too far left for me often, but it is encouraging to see that in at least 3 places I can think of, he has moved it back to the center, but he's got a long way to go if he wants to do that.
Do you think a far lefty can win a national election in this day and age?
While politicians like AOC or Zoran Mandi might win in deep blue strongholds, that doesn't reflect the broader American electorate. National elections are decided in the middle by moderates, independents, and swing voters. These are people focused on everyday concerns like groceries, safety, and jobs, not political talking points. Alienating them with extreme ideology or constant lectures risks losing crucial support, making broad victories much harder for far-left candidates.
Yes, I'm just whether it's what you said about Newsom, whether it's an AOC. I mean, do you think somebody like that can win a general election for the presidency of the United States in this day and age? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, that's, anything is possible, and possibly it would excite a certain group of people who have not voted. What if 80% of Gen Z voted? Could then a Mondami-like candidate win? I guess so, but I'm not expecting that to happen, and I don't think it's the smart bet for the Democrats. There was an article in the Atlantic this week about, the Democratic leadership keeps saying the Democrats should change course.
The Democratic leadership knows they need to move to the center. Polls, articles, and consultants all say the same thing, but they aren't. The activist class dominates, and anyone who pushes back is labeled a traitor or sellout. Ma cites Jasmine Crockett as an example. Her messaging won't win over middle America. You can't connect with working families by talking down to them or turning every election into a test of wokeness. Meanwhile, the cultural tide has shifted. Many younger voters, long assumed to automatically support progressives, are prioritizing economic opportunity, free speech, and personal freedom over symbolic politics. Republicans who address these concerns could capture a generation Democrats take for granted.
Away from the far left, but they're not doing it.
Right.
They should all read that article.
And to me, if they're not doing it, they're not paying attention to what's going to win. They just want to vent. I'm listening to Jasmine Crockett. I'm like, that verbiage ain't going to work. AOC could win the Senate seat and take it from Chuck Schumer in New York City, but that's not going to win a general election. So Mamdani might win the mayor seat in New York City, and Trump and his acolytes may be scared to death that it's going to permeate throughout the country because of what happened in Minnesota, what's happening in New York City, what potentially could happen in California. But that's not the entire country. So for me, I'm very, very worried about the left because because you should be focusing on trying to win the midterms, and I don't see that happening.
The Democratic Party is at a crossroads. They can keep doubling down on the same strategy, catering to the far left, chasing viral moments, and wondering why they keep losing ground. Or they can finally listen to voices like Bill Maher, who are sounding the alarm from inside their own house. The ghost brand doesn't have to stay dead, but reviving it will take real leadership, honesty, and the courage to tell the activist class that their approach isn't working. Right now, the party is struggling because faith has been lost. And once lost, trust is incredibly hard to regain. You don't rebuild it with slogans or outrage. You rebuild it by showing up, being real, and actually solving problems that matter to ordinary Americans. Until they do that, voters won't buy what they're selling, and the party will remain hollow and disconnected. That's the state of the Democratic Party in a nutshell. A ghost brand desperately in need of a relaunch. Whether they manage it remains to be seen. If they continue ignoring warnings and prioritizing performance over substance, they'll have no one to blame but themselves. So what do you think? Is Maher right? Can Democrats turn things around, or is it too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. And if this video made you think, hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. There's a lot more to discuss, and you won't want to miss it.